Hello friends, welcome back to Pixar Astrology. I'm your host Pix, and in this video we'll be diving deep into the new moon happening on December 12th, as well as Mercury stationing retrograde on December 13th. Happening very close together, they're kind of intertwined, so we get a bit of a double whammy, and I will get into specifics in a minute. Be sure to check the timestamps after my intro to get to your sign. I'll be sharing some tips on how to make the most of this, some do's and don'ts. And I have been working super hard to get the 2024 horoscopes out for each of the signs. It is finally done, so be sure to check out that playlist and check out your sign. I go into each of the important or big transits happening in 2024 and kind of detail out what to expect, some do's and don'ts for certain times of the year. These videos are for people who like to plan ahead and be prepared for what's to come for the following year. So let's move on to the new moon. The new moon is in Sagittarius, 20 degrees. In general, new moons, as you've heard me preach about, are seen as a time of new beginnings. It's like a fresh start where you can metaphorically plant a seed in the darkness of life and set some intentions and prepare for new growth over the coming weeks. It's a time that's often associated with initiating projects or initiating ideas and embracing new opportunities for the coming 2 weeks or the coming cycle. So again, this new moon exacts at 20 degrees Sag on December 12th, and this new moon, let's talk about the context here. This new moon is co-present with Mars. It is 7 degrees away from Mars, so it's a loose conjunction, but it is co-present. So let's talk about the vibes of the new moon. We know that Sag moons are freedom-loving and adventurous and fiery and open. And with Mars here, there may be an edgy edge to it. So Mars is hanging around and maybe there's an undercurrent of tension or just edginess, like there's a little bit of a bite in the air and it makes things feel a little bit more intense than usual. Again, it's 7 degrees away, so it's not that edgy, it's not that intense, but if you do notice an edge that's a little sharper than the usual Sagittarius bluntness, you'll know that's Mars. So also impatience. Sag is already an impatient sign. Mars is there making it more impatient, more to quick tempers. Mars brings a sense of impatience extra. People will be maybe more likely to snap or just react strongly, even over small things. Maybe not emotional, but just reactive. So also with Mars here, we got to, watch your step. Mars makes things accident prone, and everyone's moving a lot faster with Mars like this. And maybe not paying attention. So that can lead to some bumps, some mishaps. So be mindful of your body. And just in general, Mars brings challenges. So you might feel like there is some sort of mini challenge that you have to get through with this new moon, or an obstacle of some kind. Not overwhelming by any means, but there is a sense of having to push through or stand your ground more than usual. And ever since the Mars Cazimi, ever since the Mars renewal when Mars can join the sun, Mars has been co-present very close to the sun. So all of these new moons, full moon, all the lunations are kind of Mars flavored. So this isn't like coming out of nowhere, like you're not used to this vibe. We're used to this vibe. You might be so used to it you don't notice it, but another thing about Mars is it brings up authority. So situations involving authority figures or conflicting opinions in general might be more pronounced. There's a stronger push-pull or power dynamic in some conversations when there's leadership or control involved. There's a bit of a power play sometimes with Mars. But remember, Mars is not at its strongest influence at 7 degrees away, but it does add a spicy kick to the new moon's vibes, which is already pretty spicy in Sag, but spicier. So be mindful of the Mars energy. The other thing about the new moon is that it is square Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune vibes come through: dreamy, drifty, hazy, sleepy. Things might feel a little bit surreal for some of us, a little bit dreamlike, walking through fog, that kind of thing. There's that angle of the moon as well. Don't be surprised if you're a little bit sleepy, confused, not lost, but lethargic possibly. Misty, if you're like reading a map through mist, and maybe feeling a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more empathetic. And then there's this escapism temptation, especially with the Sag to Pisces square. Escapism is prominent and in a fun way often. Whether it's binge watching, daydreaming, or other ways of just stepping out of reality, playing games, etc., the urge to check out is just a lot more pronounced. So on the other hand, that makes creativity just rip, right? Creative and psychic surges are possible with Neptune. Your inner artist and your inner psychic will have a field day with this transit or with this aspect of the new moon. Lots of inspiration, lots of loud gut feelings. And just in general, Neptune has us getting lost in the sauce. You know, maybe if you're feeling a little off track, that's Neptune's disorienting influence at play. So it's like trying to navigate the high seas without a compass here with Neptune. It can be disorienting, it can be directionless. So just something to be aware of. Attempt to keep your feet on the ground if you feel like it. It's a bit more, this square is more like background music to the day. So it's less about, it's giving the day more of a mystical tune, not necessarily all that Mars energy. The other thing about the new moon is it is ruled by Jupiter. Sagittarius' ruler is Jupiter. Jupiter is currently in Taurus. So the new moon's ruler is Jupiter in Taurus, and Jupiter is opposite Venus right now. So this makes big feelings. Big feelings meets big desires. Jupiter's expansive energy meets Venus's desire for pleasure. So this creates a vibe that where emotions and desires can be amplified. You're going to feel a bit more wanty with things. And the opposition can also create a bit of a tension in relationships. Maybe you find yourself, if you are in a relationship, maybe you're oscillating between wanting to be really close and wear their skin and wanting a lot of space and to not be touched at all, or wanting or like being extremely generous or noticing someone be very generous and then wanting something in return, possibly. This transit's kind of like a dance where the steps keep changing, and there is a temptation to overindulge as well. It's Jupiter's go big or go home energy. This is a hedonistic vibe with both of the benefics facing off. It's who can have more fun, who can go big or go home, who can have the finest things in life. But yeah, wanting to indulge, going over the top with things. It could be with spending, it could be with eating, just how you approach what you do for fun and your hobbies. There may be a little voice in the back of your mind with this new moon just saying, why not? Why not? Go for it. Slay queen. Go. So overall, there's some fun aspects to this. It's not a horrible new moon. We're done with eclipse season. But this new moon is going to be most potent for those of you with planets or points around 20 degrees of the mutable sign. So that's Gemini, Virgo, Sag, Pisces. And it helps a lot to know, if you have any planets or points in Sag in general, and that will significantly flavor the new moon also. There is a lot of construction happening outside. Of course, it's happening. I swear Mercury retrogrades always have construction happening while I'm trying to record. And that's just Mercury. It's a little silly Billy. So if you hear any beep beeps or loud noises, just know they are tearing up the street out front. So this brings us to Mercury stationing retrograde at 8 degrees Capricorn. And Mercury is stationing. That means that it is stopping. It is stationary, so that it will then change direction in the same way that when you are trying to change gears in your car, if you need to go reverse, you have to put it in neutral first before you can get it in reverse, or you have to stop before you can do that. And a planet that is stopped is a lot louder than a planet that is retrograde or moving backwards, because at least, although it's moving backwards, it's moving. And that's more common than a planet stopped and stationary. So a stationary planet is a lot louder. So we'll be talking about the gnarliness of it stationing versus it being a retrograde. But let's talk about retrogrades in general. When a planet stations retrograde, it essentially feels like it has been taken over by fate, because it's going a certain way, but then something happens that makes it look like it's going another way. So Mercury has plans, but then it got sick and its plans have changed. Mercury lost volition, so fate takes over with a retrograde. So a retrograde can represent any type of larger force that interrupts the normal course trajectory or the will or the volition of Mercury. So it's like losing control of something. Something larger or bigger forces come in and give us some plot twists with a retrograde. Retrogrades are times when your guides and the universe start talking to you a lot louder, and it just gives us plot twists that are outside what we had planned. You know, a larger force, bigger than Mercury, is taking over, and so Mercury has to find alignment with that bigger force, or it will struggle and it will kick and it will feel like it is being taken over by something that is contrary to its will. So that can mean delays. That can mean reversals of fate. That can mean reversals of circumstance or a relinquishment of what was gained before. So that's a retrograde in general. That's why we don't hate them. We're not afraid of them in this house because we don't mind when fate takes over. We're not all knowing. We're not all controlling. Sometimes we need a little bit of a course correction. And Mercury will station direct on January 1st, 2024. How funny is that? Hilarious. And it gets funnier, actually. Why is it funny? Because we're all going to be hungover and exhausted on January 1st. And I don't mean we all as in you and I, because I'm not a drinker and I don't know if you are, but the air, you know what I mean? The air is hungover. Other people are hungover. So it's just the vibe. And that's just too good for Mercury stationing. Even if it's stationing direct, it's still stopping on January 1st to then move forward. And everyone's going to feel stopped. And that's just too astrologer good, okay? And the funnier part, if it can get funnier, is that it stations direct at 22 degrees Sagittarius. And if that sounds familiar to you, it's because it is 2 degrees away from where the new moon is on the 12th that we're talking about today. So very close. And astrologer good. This is going to be an interesting story for all of us. So the day after the new moon on December 12th, the moon leaves Sagittarius and it enters Capricorn, which is where Mercury is stationing retrograde. So whenever the moon goes anywhere near a transit, it activates that in our life because the moon rules people, it rules humans. It can activate things for people. So the moon will be moving into the same sign as Mercury's retrograde, and it's just too good. So the day after the new moon will activate the Mercury retrograde process for us. And Mercury retrograde, what's nice, it's not the worst Mercury retrograde ever, honestly. At least the first half isn't. The second half will be a little bit harder, and we'll talk about that when it happens. The first half won't be that bad. Mercury is stationing retrograde while trine Jupiter in Taurus and sextile Venus in Scorpio. So we got a little bit of help, a little bit of yummy energy. So maybe there is miscommunications with a silver lining of some kind. Mercury retrograde has the usual hiccups in communication, technology, but thanks to Jupiter's trine, maybe the snafus have some positive outcomes. Or, sending a text to the wrong person and then it turns out to be a good thing somehow. And maybe there's some mixed messages, but maybe they're pleasant, Venus' sextile adds a little gentle, more pleasant vibe to things, even if there are communication mix-ups. Even when misunderstandings happen, they're likely to be resolved nicely, easily, sweetly, or lead to more pleasant exchanges of some kind. And just in the retrograde part, maybe there's unexpected but positive reconnections happening. Revisits from the past happen with retrogrades, and the trine with Jupiter can bring a surprising positive twist. Maybe you bump into old friends or revisit past ideas, and these types of things turn out more optimistic or more beneficial than you would normally expect with a retrograde. Although Mercury is a bit of a wild card, Jupiter and Venus being in the mix, the overall atmosphere could lead towards more positivity and more pleasantness than usual retrograde shenanigans. So overall, this new moon this new moon has bittersweet vibes, like something good happens, but it might require a longer process, or maybe a process that requires recalibration, reorganizing, redoing something. It's maybe related to the retrograde in some way. And this Mercury retrograde is going to be most potent for the cardinal signs, for those of you who have planets around 8 degrees of Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, or Aries. And when it comes to the direct station, it'll be the mutable signs. So cardinal signs are off the hook there. But when Mercury stations direct, or the second half of the retrograde, will be felt loudest by the mutable signs. That's Gemini, Virgo, Sag, Pisces. And of course, it helps a lot to know which planets or points you have in Capricorn. That will significantly flavor the stationing point of the retrograde too. So that's my overview for now. And let's get into it. Find your rising sign in the timestamps and let's go. Hello, Aries. So this new moon in Sagittarius is happening in your 9th house, and it is giving you a thumbs up to dive into all things that broaden your horizons. Think exciting travel plans, getting hooked on a new area of study, or maybe just exploring some sort of deep spiritual practices or something like that. It's all about big ideas and grand adventures in the 9th house, and with Sagittarius here. So let's talk about some specifics. What can you expect with this new moon? You can expect maybe a fresh perspective on beliefs, like the new moon brings an energy of starting anew. So finding yourself rethinking or refreshing your beliefs and philosophies and your perspectives. And maybe this new moon initiates a learning journey of some kind. There's a vibe of a new educational path or a new studies, opening a brand new book or a new subject that fascinates you. You may notice a desire for adventure, clashing with caution. We have Mars's influence here that sparks a strong desire to jump into new experiences, but there's a hint of caution or second guessing due to the Neptune square from Pisces. And the new moon might also bring up questions about your spiritual journey. I was saying spiritual practices could come up, but maybe questions happen that lead you to exploring new paths or new practices. And again, maybe with some uncertainty or confusion, but feeling guided in some way thanks to Neptune. And your dreams and aspirations related to travel or related to school may feel more inspired, yet maybe somewhat nebulous or hard to pin down realistically. And you may notice a struggle between wanting to escape and wanting to be in reality, and there's no right way to do this. You'll be swinging back and forth between feeling inspired and feeling like your inspiredness isn't grounded in reality, and that's okay. You're working through the process of a new idea. So some do's and don'ts for the new moon. I recommend you do join a book club or join a class or a discussion group of some kind. Gather with friends and dive into some new ideas or tell each other stories. The 9th house is the storytelling house also. It's a great time to expand your mind under this new moon. I also recommend you take a trip to a nearby city or a natural area, hiking or something like that. Some sort of mini adventure is on the docket for this. Scratching a travel itch in a very fun, easy way. And I recommend you do something occult related. This is your 9th house, which is the traditional house that rules astrology. So besides that, it's all occult things. It's all connection to spirit. So I recommend you light a candle. I love lighting candles with the intention to manifest something, especially with a new moon. So I recommend you do that with the intention to manifest something related to the 9th house topics. And, picture yourself setting up a cozy space, focusing on your dreams and what you want to explore next while you light that candle, and watch as the universe meets you halfway. And the don'ts for the new moon. I recommend you don't pass up any opportunities to learn something new, because that is astrologer good if you do learn something new. If an opportunity like that pops up, go for it. This is a new moon about broadening your horizons. And I recommend you don't overlook if you are in any legal or educational matters or situations, don't overlook any details there. With the confusion from Neptune square, it's totally fine with the new moon, it's totally fine to start something new with legal matters or educational matters. But with Neptune square, you got to make sure that the details are clear because Neptune will Neptune it up. And I recommend you do not ignore your intuition. It's going to be extra loud with this new moon in your 9th house. So if something feels off or if something feels really right, listen to that. That is your inner voice. And this moves us to Mercury stationing retrograde. And Mercury will be stationing retrograde in Capricorn, which is your 10th whole sign house. And this can mean a retrograde here could mean experiencing changes, delays, or plot twists with your career, with your image, with your overall life direction and goals. And it's like a larger force is reshaping your professional path and your plans. So this can be annoying, but overall, it's for the higher good. It's for the good of the realm. You can expect unexpected changes in your career plans. Think of it like your career GPS is rerouting unexpectedly. So you might have to take a detour from your original professional path. You can also look out for revisiting old ideas or old projects at work, finding an old diary and getting inspired by past ideas or previously shelved projects or previously shelved thoughts that resurface and seem a bit more relevant now. And of course, you can expect mix-ups in your day-to-day professional communications, emails going astray, misunderstandings in meetings, the classic Mercury retrograde snafus, but in your work life specifically, the printer going down. Is the printer ever not down, right? Anyway, also rethinking your public image or rethinking your brand in some way, like looking in the mirror and deciding to change your style, or a prompt to rethink how you present yourself professionally as possible. And with Mercury trining Jupiter, you're getting the chance to learn from past missteps here. It's like getting a do-over, but with a lot more wisdom in certain situations. And the sextile to Venus in Scorpio hints at forming deeper, more meaningful connections within your work environment. So it's not all bad. But yeah, there is a reflection on your career versus your personal beliefs because Mercury will retrograde back into Sagittarius, into your 9th house. So you might find yourself thinking or pondering about how your career aligns or doesn't align with your personal philosophies or beliefs. So some do's and don'ts for the beginning of the Mercury retrograde. I recommend you do reorganize your workspace. Giving your work area a little makeover is astrologer good and can use the transit before the transit uses you. And it can also help clear your mind and spark some new ideas when you do this too. I recommend you start a part-time course or go to a workshop. Even if progress is slower, it's a really good time to begin learning something new that aligns with your career specifically, or just personal growth with your interests. And I recommend you revise and update your LinkedIn or your Instagram or whatever social medias you use to present yourself to the world. It's time to refine that and not necessarily start from scratch, but go through, maybe unfriend people that you don't want to talk to anymore. Or maybe not unfriend people you don't want to talk to anymore, but unfriend old coworkers you don't talk to anymore, old bosses, that kind of thing. Make your social media more pleasant. Or you can work on your website also, or your resume. It's a good time to refine those too. And I also recommend you reconnect with former colleagues or former mentors, especially. Catch up over coffee or maybe FaceTime. It's a really good retrograde to reestablish connections that could offer valuable professional matters or insights or opportunities. I recommend you do not launch any major new projects. It's big beginnings might be trickier with Mercury retrograde. So if you can, hold off launching something massive until after the retrograde. On the other hand, if you have already planned this and this was the set time to launch a thing, that is astrologer good. That is an okay time to start something, because sometimes when we launch new projects, it takes a few weeks to work out the kinks, and Mercury retrograde is the time to do that. And I recommend you don't neglect to back up any of your digital files. Tech mess ups are a thing here, so make sure your digital files are safely backed up and you're not going to lose it all. So, and don't dismiss old projects that are resurfacing. This is the time because there could be valuable insights or opportunities with these situations and reworking them. It's a really good time to revisit rather than disregard. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for the, know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Tauruses. So this new moon is happening in your 8th house. And when a new moon happens here, it often signifies a time of new beginnings and or turning points related to some sort of deep transformation you've been going through, maybe managing shared resources with somebody else, and addressing inner emotional and psychological matters. So the 8th house is one of the more challenging houses, and it's only because we can't really see what goes on in that house, so it's a little bit mysterious, and it takes a lot of digging to connect to what's going on there, and you generally need somebody else to help you get to that connection. You can't do it alone. So let's talk about some specifics though. Some specific things you can expect from the new moon include starting fresh with financial matters. This is a new moon that could bring up a fresh start to how you handle debts, loans, investments, shared accounts. It's hitting a reset button on financial strategies. It's the opportunity to hit the reset button on financial strategies. And you can expect some sort of emotional renewal, especially within relationships that are important to you, like an emotional reboot with your closest relationships where deep-seated issues might come to the surface, ready to be addressed and transformed and alchemized. You can also expect to maybe be navigating through foggy emotional waters. It is emotional, but it might be a bit foggy and you might not understand every aspect of it and you might be kind of confused. This is due to Neptune's influence. So uncertainty in understanding these deeper emotions or understanding somebody else's emotions, issues, or not issues, but uncertainty or confusion in understanding them. And you can expect a bit of a reassessment with shared resources and with commitments to somebody else. It's a good new moon to look at joint finances or resources with a fresh perspective. And with that Mars energy involved, these discussions might have an extra edge or urgency or intensity or the need to cut something off. Something sharp that's Marsy. So some do's and don'ts for this new moon. The do's. The new moon says that it's a good time to sit down and organize your finances. Doing a health check for your bank account is what this new moon likes. Also, if you share finances with somebody else, like a partner or a family member, this is a good time to chat about those joint money plans, syncing up your financial playlists together. So the last do I have is to do a new moon manifestation ritual. I want you to light a candle with the focus on intentions around something transformative or money related, shared resource related, or just your emotional healing moving forward. It's setting your GPS to where you want your inner journey to go moving forward for the next couple weeks. The don'ts I have for this new moon include not making impulsive financial decisions. Hold off on any big purchases or risky investments. It's more about planning than action right now. And don't ignore any emotional undercurrents coming through. If there are any deeper emotions building up, don't push them aside with this new moon. You don't want to ignore a leaky faucet. You want to address it sooner rather than later. And don't overlook any important financial details. It could be possible with Neptune here. You got to slow down with Neptune's foggy influence and Mercury, which we're getting into next. But yeah, it's really crucial to read the fine print with any paper signing with this new moon. Make sure you fully understand the details in financial agreements specifically. And this moves us into Mercury's retrograde because it's all intertwined here. And I'll get to why near the end. So Mercury will station retrograde in your 9th house, your Capricorn house, whole sign house. And this indicates a period of revisiting, reassessing, recalibrating, and rethinking your overall beliefs, your overall perspectives on things, your plans for study, your plans for travel, and perspectives on spiritual and just overall philosophical, higher-minded, bigger-minded, big brain topics. So specifically, this retrograde could have you revisiting some sort of old study materials or old subjects you used to study, dusting off old books, dusting off old notes, revisiting subjects you thought you were done with. This is your old schoolwork deciding to have a reunion type vibe. And you can maybe expect travel plans to get twisted with Mercury retrograde. If you do have travel plans, you should expect hiccups around the stationing point. Your GPS is suddenly deciding to take you on a scenic route you didn't plan, or delays with your flight, or, traffic, getting stuck behind the freeway stopping, having this is so funny. Mercury stationing retrograde in my 3rd house of neighborhood, and they are doing construction on the street, my street. Anyway, I digress. It could be similar for you, but yeah, especially with long distance travel, you could be having a lot of delays or changes in plans, plot twists. Unless, with that being said, unless you are traveling back to somewhere you have been before. If you are returning to somewhere you have been before, that is astrologer good. That is retrograde taking you back somewhere you've been before. So this is generally only the hiccups, I would say, are more common when you're going somewhere new. Okay. The other thing you can expect is discussion, like deeper discussions coming back up to discuss, resurfacing. Big questions might come back around with a new twist. Your brain is bringing back old debates for a second round of fighting. And this retrograde will have you rethinking your overall beliefs and have you rethinking parts of your worldview. Your views on certain topics might be shifting or might get a bit shaken with this retrograde. It's like looking at your mental map and realizing there are other routes you haven't considered, and now you can finally see them. And with Mercury retrograding back into your 8th house for the second half of the retrograde, you may notice unexpected insights related to finances or emotional issues. So this isn't a one and done process. We're going to be going through the new moon and Mercury retrograde as one big process. And I already kind of mentioned this, but if you're dealing with legal stuff or some sort of formal education, there may be some slowdowns there. It's like the universe is hitting pause buttons on paperwork in general. So some do's and don'ts for the Mercury retrograde for y'all. I recommend you do reread your favorite spiritual book or your favorite philosophical book. It's like revisiting an old friend who always has new wisdom to share, so you'll gain something there. I recommend you do review your financial plans and your documents during this retrograde. It's a good time, again, to look at your investments, your budgets, any financial paperwork. Allow it to be a process. You don't have to have the answers all at once. And this health check you have for your wallet and your finances will be pretty much moving forward with all of its reorganization by the end, I should say by January 1st or the first week of January when Mercury stations direct. The other thing I recommend you do for this retrograde is reflect on your past journeys, both physical journeys and spiritual journeys. It's a really good time, a really good retrograde to challenge yourself to journal or meditate daily and reflect. It's a trip down memory lane with a purpose. So some don'ts I have for you. I recommend you don't start a brand new course or a brand new travel adventure. Hold off on launching into entirely new educational or travel endeavors. It's better to wait until the retrograde passes if possible. If you do have to start, just know that the retrograde is the process for whatever you're starting, and it will take at least 3 weeks to fully feel like it's settled in. Which isn't horrible, just be aware of it. And I recommend you don't ignore any unfinished financial business. This is the retrograde to work through it. This is not the time to brush anything under the rug. We don't want to leave the spill uncleaned. It'll just get stickier. And don't dismiss any sudden intuitions or insights, because if your gut is telling you something, especially about deep personal or financial matters, listen to it, because that is a nudge from your inner self. That is important. So overall, these things that I'm saying, do and don't, are helping you make the most of the reflective energy of Mercury retrograde, and it has you focusing on recalibrating, reviewing, reassessing, rather than pushing forward into new territories. This is a time to take a thoughtful stroll through your inner and outer worlds. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for the, know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Geminis. So this new moon is in your 7th house, and a new moon here typically signifies a fresh start or some sort of new development with your one-on-one relationships, whether it's a romantic partner, whether it's a bestie, or even clients or colleagues, business partnerships, whoever you spend one-on-one time with. That could be your mom is your bestie. Although your mom is usually your 4th house. I'm just saying any one-on-one interactions you have, your what's the partner in crime? That's what I'm looking for. Your partner in crime house. So let's talk about what you can expect more specifically. You could find yourself meeting new people who really click with you, like your social circle is getting some new interesting faces showing up maybe. So yeah, new connections, new relationships are possible. Also, existing relationships might get a fresh burst of energy. It's like injecting a bit of new life into your interactions with close people, like revitalizing your current relationships. And with Neptune's foggy influence and with Mercury slowing down to stop, be prepared for mixed signals and misunderstandings. Have some patience there. There's going to be misunderstandings in conversations. Also, Mars can bring a bit of tension or a competitive vibe into any conversations or interactions that you're having. Sometimes you'll be stepping on each other's toes with Mars here, some sort of push-pull dynamic. With Jupiter opposing Venus, you might be pondering what you truly seek in partnerships, whether it's business, platonic, romantic, reevaluating your wish list in relationships. You might notice yourself thinking about that. And despite any challenges with this new moon, there is a chance for deeper bonding or deeper understanding in your close relationships. It's like finding a hidden depth in the ocean of your connections. It's a pretty exciting new moon for y'all. So this new moon overall is about new beginnings and new insights in your relationships, but with a mix of excitement and a bit of confusion and a deeper understanding coming through. It's like turning a new page in a new chapter in the book of your one-on-one interactions and relationships. So the do's and don'ts for this new moon I have for you. I recommend you do have coffee with friends or go on a date night of some kind. It's a really good time to strengthen bonds, whether it's with a bestie or whether it's with a partner. Think of it as adding some sparkle into your relationships for this new moon. I recommend you do use this time to share your thoughts and feelings, openly communicate. It's a good time to clear the air and set the stage for better understanding moving forward if necessary. This is also a really good moon to do a new moon manifestation ritual. So I recommend lighting a candle with the intention to manifest something related to these topics in your chart. Seventh house topics. So maybe you light a candle to focus on what you want to attract and develop in your relationships. It plants seeds for future relational growth symbolically, and the universe will see that and, return your reward twofold. So let's talk about your don'ts for this new moon. With the potential for misunderstandings, take a moment to clarify things rather than assuming with this new moon. Double check the recipe before baking. Don't jump to conclusions at any point in conversations with other people, with trying to predict a recipe. Also, don't overlook any red flags in new relationships. If something feels off, pay attention to it because you want to notice that small crack in the foundation and address it quickly and early. And don't, balance is key here. Don't neglect yourself for other people. This is the 7th house new moon, which can be a very codependent time where you're not really thinking about yourself, you're thinking about other people. So make sure you are not putting other people's needs consistently before your own. You want to make sure both sides are, of the scale are equally weighed. And so Mercury will be stationing retrograde the next day in your 8th house. And this indicates a time of revisiting, recalibrating, reassessing things related to your finances, your shared resources, deep emotional issues that you have. And it will possibly uncover some hidden information and have you rethinking strategies with these topics. So what does it all mean, Basil? Let's talk about some specifics. For this retrograde period of about 3 weeks, you might find yourself revisiting discussions about finances or resources that you share with someone else, or maybe your investments. Double checking the terms of a savings account or a joint purchase agreement. So reevaluating joint financial agreements is something that might come up for this retrograde. Also, expect some past emotional issues or some unresolved stuff to come up. Old emotional mail that's been sitting unopened suddenly might demand some attention. Old emotional baggage popping up. And things like loans, taxes, inheritances might hit some delays or snags. Your financial paperwork is going to take the slow scenic route. So there may be some delays with financial transactions with this retrograde, and it is a process, okay? Also, if you have been considering therapy or if you've been working on your mental health, you might find yourself reassessing your approach or revisiting past breakthroughs. It's like rereading a chapter of one of your favorite books that really gave you an aha moment. So maybe you'll experience some sort of second look at therapy or mental health issues. And with Mercury retrograding back into your 7th house from your 8th house, some sort of ex-partner or ex-friend might come back into the picture, but conversations could go a bit deeper than expected. So keep an eye out for that. And you might, if you have a partner or if you're in a partnership with someone, you might discover something new or overlooked about a partner's financial situation or a partner's life in general, or the support that they offer you. Finding some sort of unexpected detail in a joint financial plan is possible with this retrograde. Remember though, Mercury retrograde is a time for review, reflection, and recalibration, especially for you related to shared resources or deep personal connections. So the universe with this retrograde is nudging you to look under the hood of your finances and your emotional cars. And some do's and don'ts for the retrograde. I recommend you do audit your shared financial accounts with anybody. It's a really good time to go through any joint bank accounts or shared investments. Again, financial health checkup is in order. And I recommend you do revisit conversations about emotional things or emotional support. If there were discussions about emotional needs or support with a partner or with a close friend, you can circle back to them with this. It's an astrologer good moment to do that, making sure everyone's on the same emotional page. I also recommend you spend some time thinking about how you interact in your relationships, reflect on your relationship dynamics. Doing a performance review for your personal connections is a good thing for the retrograde. The don'ts include: don't rush into any new financial commitments. Hold off on making any big new investments or loan agreements. It's like waiting for the weather to clear before setting sail. Unless you have already considered this thing, the thing that you want to do, and you've been planning for it for a while, the retrograde process can indicate the process of getting used to that and working out the kinks. But jumping into something new during the retrograde will prove to be not a struggle, but will prove to be a bit more challenging than it has to be. And I recommend you don't ignore any old relationship issues that are coming up. If any past issues with someone else are coming up, don't sweep them under the rug. This is like fixing a squeaky door. Better to address it than to ignore it. It'll just get worse if you ignore it. I also recommend you don't dismiss your intuition. Don't ignore your intuition. If your gut is telling you something, especially about a relationship, especially about a financial situation or a close interaction, pay attention, because your gut isn't wrong. Your inner alarm system is giving you a heads up when this happens. So these are do's and don'ts that help you harness the retrograde's reflective energy, especially with your relationships and with your finances. It encourages you to be careful and to review and introspect without jumping straight into new ventures or ignoring past issues. It's like taking a very mindful walk through the garden of your personal and financial life. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Cancers. So this new moon is happening in your 6th house, and this typically signals a time for new beginnings or shifts in areas around your daily routine, with your work environment, with your health habits, with your pets, and with relationships, or relationships with coworkers or with people that you regularly interact with in service-oriented contexts. So some specific things you can expect with this new moon. New tasks or new projects at work may come up. So you can expect new assignments or new projects popping up on your to-do list, your work inbox suddenly getting a bunch of new emails. You can also expect your daily schedule to experience some sort of shakeup. Changes in your daily routine, like your usual routine decided to take a different route on some level, and it's a new beginning to something new. Also, Neptune's foggy energy squaring the moon might make things even more foggy. We have Mercury's stationing also, so there's a potential for workplace, especially misunderstandings, unclear instructions at work, miscommunications with coworkers, trying to put a puzzle together with missing pieces. Be aware of that possibility. And Mars can also bring a boost of energy, but also could lead to some friction or competitive vibes with coworkers. Everyone might be a little bit more on edge at work specifically. And there may be, with this new moon, more of a focus on your health on some level, finding yourself paying more attention to your health, maybe starting some sort of new health routine. Your body might be reminding you to take better care of it, or that it exists and it wants attention. And with Jupiter opposite Venus with this new moon, there might be a push to find a better balance between your work life and your home life. Trying to find the perfect mix in your life's equalizer. So the do's and don'ts I have for this new moon, I do recommend you organize your workspace. A tidy space can lead to a clearer mind, which is very useful with this retrograde coming up. Giving your work environment a little mini makeover is a good thing to do. And starting a new health routine of some kind, whether it's a new workout you're going to try or a new diet, a new hike you're going to try. It's a good time to focus on health. So tuning up your body is a good do. I recommend you do something for your pet to bond with them more, or schedule them for a checkup. Or if you don't have a pet, maybe you consider adopting a pet. Maybe buy them a new toy. New pet routine is a good thing to do. Maybe go on a different walk than you usually do. And I, of course, recommend you do some sort of new moon manifestation ritual. My favorite is a candle, lighting a candle with the intention of manifesting something to do with your 6th house topics. So if you want to manifest a better work routine, but, set intentions related to your work life. It's like drawing a roadmap for where you want your everyday life to go. I recommend you don't ignore any small health issues that are coming up with this new moon. This is the seed being planted. So if you notice a sniffle, if you notice, some sort of sign with your health, and I'm not talking to the hypochondriacs, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to everybody else. If you notice yourself sniffling or you're feeling run down, pay attention. If your body is sending signals, don't brush them off. We want to listen to the check engine in your car dashboard of your life, of your body. You want to look into it. I recommend you don't rush into any tasks without double and triple checking. I know that's really annoying for me to preach about, but with the potential for misunderstandings with the square to Neptune and with Mercury stationing, this is a time to take extra attention on reviewing your work. Proofread that important email before you hit send. Maybe proofread it twice. Maybe ask somebody else to read it. And I recommend you do not get involved in any workplace drama, which is possible. It's possible that a little workplace drama will begin and maybe get more intense as the weeks go on. So we want to steer clear of any conflicts or tension at work. We want to avoid those potholes in the smooth road, right? We want to make the journey easier. And this moves us into the Mercury retrograde. So Mercury will be stationing in your 7th house, and it will move from there into your 6th house. As you can see, this is why the new moon is entangled in this retrograde. But yeah, retrograde in your 7th house typically suggests a period for recalibrating or revisiting agreements, understandings, communications with one-on-one interactions, whether it's your romantic partner, a close friend, a business partner, client work, any one-on-one interactions you have with your partner in crime. There is a recalibration happening there. So you might notice old friends, old exes might pop up. Your past is popping up for a quick hello here with old buddies, former flames. Maybe they will re-enter your life for a little bit even. Also, you might notice miscommunications in relationships. Expect some crossed wires with any conversations you're having. It's like with this retrograde and the square to Neptune, it's like playing a game of telephone with your partner or your best friend and things getting lost in translation. And you might find yourself revisiting, rethinking certain plans or agreements that you've already made, double checking your shared Google Calendar, make sure that everything's right. And you might notice that with Mercury slipping back into your 6th house, you could be doing some thinking about how your day-to-day routines and health habits are doing in your life. It's like your inner coach is calling for a timeout to reassess the game plan. So it's kind of like there's a new moon, a new beginning that happens, and then Mercury comes through and makes sure that the new beginning that we are working towards is proper. It's like the new moon plants a seed, and as the retrograde moves on, the roots start to take root and something starts to sprout up, and that's when we have to prune it and make it proper, make sure it'll keep growing in the right way. So this is kind of what the retrograde's doing to your routine, your day-to-day routine and to-do lists and what you are doing day to day. Like feeding the dog, walking the dog, doing your laundry, doing the dishes, putting out day-to-day fires. Sixth housers know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you could be doing a lot of rethinking about your routines for the second half of the retrograde. And thanks to Jupiter and Venus, you can expect some unexpected but potentially beneficial insights during any conversations with other people. It's like finding hidden gems in regular conversations, which is a really fun place to be in. Also, the retrograde might offer an opportunity to clear the air about something that's been bugging you in a relationship for a while now. It's like finally getting the pebble out of your shoe. So a chance to clear up past misunderstandings is possible with this retrograde too. So overall, this Mercury retrograde is just a cosmic rewind button that is giving you a chance to revisit and potentially redo conversations and plans in your close relationships, all while keeping an eye on your daily routines. So the universe is handing you a do-over card in your relational and daily life game, pretty much, with this retrograde. So the do's and don'ts I recommend you do send some sort of thoughtful message to an old friend. Reach out with a specific memory or an inside joke with them and reopen a chapter of a friendship that brings smiles. Whoever you just thought about, for them. Message them, say hello. Also, I recommend you do create some sort of detailed list for your to-do list, for your work tasks. Break down your work tasks into smaller, more manageable steps, creating a mini roadmap for your daily work journey, and that way you have more things to cross off and you feel more accomplished. And I recommend you do schedule some sort of checkup appointment. Whether it's for your physical health or some sort of like routine dental visit or a vet appointment. This is a really good time to take care of any pending health appointments. The don'ts. I recommend for the retrograde that you do not start a new relationship or a new business partnership. Wait until the retrograde passes before jumping into any new commitments. Let the paint dry before you add a new layer, pretty much. With that being said, if you have already, before the retrograde, been considering a new relationship or a new business partnership, the retrograde process could just indicate the process of working out the kinks in the new partnership dynamics. So it's not that you can't start any new relationships. It's just don't start any on a whim, because the retrograde will make it a bit harder than it has to be otherwise. I also recommend you don't ignore any emails, don't ignore any messages that are requiring clarification for you, which will probably happen a little bit more often. If you receive some sort of confusing message from somebody else, especially at work, ask for specifics right away. You want to solve the mini mystery in your inbox right away. You don't want it to linger and get more confusing. I also recommend you don't skip any regular wellness routine that you have. Stick to an established routine to help maintain balance through all the changes that are happening with your daily routine and with other people in your life. You know, whether that's exercise, whether that's just meditation, something like that can really help you keep the rhythm of your daily life. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Leo besties. The new moon in Sagittarius will be happening in your 5th whole sign house. And a new moon here typically signifies a fresh start or a renewed energy with things like creative projects, romantic endeavors, recreational activities, and interactions with kids. And it highlights themes around fun, self-expression, and general enjoyment. So what are some specifics you can expect with this new moon? A burst of creative ideas is possible. The 5th house is one of the funnest things to have anything happen in. So you might feel like your brain is suddenly hitting the jackpot of fun, creative ideas. Your inner artist just had a double espresso shot, essentially, with this new moon. Also, new flings or romantic sparks of some kind. Dating someone. The dating scene in general could get interesting. Maybe there's a new potential for a new partner, or maybe there's new flirty encounters that you are encountering. Your love life might decide to turn up the heat a little bit. With Neptune's foggy influence and square, the plans for outings and dates might get a little bit muddled though. So especially with Mercury's retrograde, trying to plan a picnic and forgetting the sandwiches is the vibe. So miscommunications and fun plans could be possible. Also, Mars's involvement with the new moon could have you feeling extra enthusiastic about your hobbies or the things you do for fun or sports. It's a very good time to do any kind of sports or physical activities. Your energy levels are getting a secret boost here. And there is a chance for getting carried away with romantic fantasies thanks to the square from Neptune. Your love life might be wearing a bit of rose-tinted glasses. So be aware of any dreamy or unrealistic expectations within romance with this new moon. You're still having a lot of fun, just don't get carried away. Overall, this new moon is like opening the door to a playground of creativity, romance, and fun, but maybe with a few unexpected twists and turns. So some do's and don'ts I have for this new moon. I recommend you do start a new creative hobby or a new creative project of some kind, whether it's painting, writing, social media, making a PowerPoint presentation, doing a reading for somebody. Now's a great time to dive into a creative activity. Add a splash of color into your daily life with this. Also, the new moon is a good time to plan a fun outing or plan a date night of some kind. Set up something enjoyable, like a movie night or a visit to an amusement park or a cozy dinner date. And this could be with friends, it could be with a partner, it could be with your mom, it could be with anybody. And I do recommend you do some sort of manifestation ritual. This new moon is a really good one to light a candle with the intention to manifest something related to your 5th house topic, something that brings you joy and pleasure. Drawing a map to your personal treasure island of happiness with this candle. So the don'ts I have include don't overlook practical aspects of your pursuit of joy and fun. And so that means, enjoy yourself, but don't forget about the practicalities of life, like budgeting for your adventures specifically. Make sure your party has enough snacks for everybody. And I recommend you don't ignore any miscommunications, especially within romantic or creative endeavors. Clear up any misunderstandings straight away. We have that Neptune square. We have Mercury's retrograde. We want to make sure everyone's reading from the same script here. And I also don't recommend rushing into serious romantic commitments. If a new love interest is sweeping you off your feet right now, congratulations. I love that for you. Enjoy the moment, but hold off on any big decisions until Mercury's retrograde is over. With that being said, you want to enjoy, the dance before worrying about the next song, basically, with this new moon. And we have this Mercury retrograde that is more of a process. And that brings us, let's talk about that actually. Mercury is stationing retrograde in your 6th house, and this is typically a period, or signals a time that is for recalibrating or rethinking, revising your daily routines, your work processes, your health habits, your pets, your relationship with your pets, and it can be accompanied by a lot of miscommunications or delays with these types of subjects. So specifically, you could expect your usual work tasks to get a bit scrambled. Your to-do list might decide to play a game of musical chairs, so don't be surprised if you notice mix-ups with daily work tasks. You might also notice some sort of revisiting of old hobbies or old creative projects too, because Mercury will be heading back into your 5th house. So, the 5th house, again, we were just talking about hobbies, creative passions, joys, old things you used to do may make a comeback. Finding your old favorite song and hitting replay. And you might notice health routine adjustments needing to happen also, needing to tweak a workout plan or a diet plan, or just fine-tuning your personal wellness on some level. You might need to revisit a dentist, for example. Also, pet care reassessments. If you have pets, this is a time to maybe rethink their routines or their care strategies. It's like being a detective and figuring out what makes your pet the happiest and working through that and figuring it out. And you might notice you are reconnecting with past coworkers or past work projects. So expect to bump into familiar faces from your work past specifically, or revisiting previous work projects. Your professional world is getting a little bit of a reunion. And with the retrograde dipping back into your 5th house, like I said, leisure activities may need reevaluating too, checking to make sure your relaxation methods are still hitting the spot. So on to some do's and don'ts for the Mercury retrograde. I do recommend you double check all your work communications, make sure all your emails and messages are clear and understood. Make sure you're proofreading the text before sending it so you don't get any oops moments. And I recommend you revisit any incomplete creative projects that are just sitting around. Dust off those half-finished pieces, writings, art projects, or other creative projects that you started. It's a second life for your hidden gems. And I do recommend you adjust your daily routine. So if you need to tweak your daily schedule, make it more streamlined for your lifestyle, this is a good time to do it. Rearrange your closet for easier access, rearrange your work hours for easier life. And I don't recommend you start any new work projects if possible. Like, avoid kicking off any big, brand new tasks at work. It's a good idea to wait until after the retrograde to make it a little bit easier. With that being said, if this major work plan has already been planned for a while and this was just the start date, that's actually astrologer good, because a retrograde's a good time for working out the kinks in new work projects. But if you're going to just start something on a whim, know that it'll take the entire process of Mercury retrograde to fully get settled. I also recommend you do not neglect to back up any of your digital data. So with the potential tech glitches coming up, make sure that your work and your just personal files are safely backed up. Make sure you have a little safety net for your digital world. And I recommend you don't skimp on downtime with this retrograde. Make sure that you are carving out moments for fun and for relaxation. Remember to charge your phone. You got to remember to charge yourself, okay? So these are things that help you navigate the retrograde smoothly by being extra careful with the work tasks and communicating, and recalibrating past creative interests that you have, and making sure that you're balancing your work with fun and relaxation. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time, maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare, and maybe write in your calendar for know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Virgos. It's funny, I just start your horoscope and my stomach starts hurting. So that's very Virgo of me. I'm channeling y'all. Virgos and their stomachs, I swear. Okay, so this new moon for y'all is happening in your 4th house. And this is a new moon that signifies new beginnings or shifts with your private life, like changes in your home environment or with your family dynamics, or a deeper connection to your roots and your personal foundation in general. New beginnings there. So you may be feeling the urge to redecorate or rearrange your home somehow, like your living space is suddenly whispering to you, let's change things up. And maybe you're moving some furniture or adding new decorations. Those are good new moon things that you might be feeling like doing. And you might notice with Mars involved here, your family dynamics might get a little bit more lively, a little bit more surprising, a little bit more conflicting. You're getting a plot twists in your family's usual sitcom. And with Mars here, maybe somebody's fighting. Maybe certain family members are fighting or something like that. Conflict is possible with Mars. So unexpected developments with family could be possible. Also, thanks to Neptune with this new moon, there could be some mixed signals or unclear situations, or, trying to read a recipe where half the instructions are smudged. A bit of confusion at home or with family matters, maybe feeling lethargic at home or with your home life, or feeling kind of dreamy or lost or boundarylessness with your home life too. You might find yourself curious about your family history with this new moon. Maybe you're exploring your heritage. And with Jupiter and Venus here influencing things, there is a pull towards making your home more cozy, more inviting. Your inner interior designer wakes up and says, we're making this place even nicer with this new moon. And the new moon might bring some emotional waves with your private life. Overall, this new moon is about opening a new chapter in your home and your family life. And it's filled with some excitement and some confusion. Your home life is getting a mini start over or mini restart with this new moon. So some do's and don'ts I have for y'all for this new moon. I recommend you do start a home improvement project, whether it's painting a room, organizing a closet. This is a good new moon to enhance your living space in some way. Give your house a mini spa day. Also, do create a dedicated cozy corner of your home. Pick a small area and make it your relaxation spot. Add a comfy chair, maybe some soft lighting, and maybe some plants. Building your own little sanctuary can be astrologer good here too. I also recommend you organize some sort of family dinner night. Maybe make it themed, make it cute. Plan a dinner where everyone brings their own dish, maybe with a fun theme like favorite childhood meals or something. That's very 4th housey. Or international cuisine or traditional cuisine. And I do recommend you do some sort of new moon manifestation ritual. I recommend you light a candle with the intention to manifest something related to the 4th house. So if you want to light a candle to manifest your ideal home life, your ideal house, you want to manifest a new house, a new family dynamic, that sort of thing. Focus on what home means to you, and maybe set up a small altar or space that you can put things that represent comfort and security to you. Maybe write down your intentions for your home life and see where that takes you. I recommend you don't rush any major changes in your living situation. If you're thinking about moving or you're thinking about making big changes at home, consider waiting it out for a bit of clarity, like checking the weather before a big day out. We have the retrograde happening at the same time. So whatever you start now will be the process of the Mercury retrograde, which is a little over 3 weeks. So if you have been with that being said, if you have been planning to move, this is a fine time to move. A new moon in your 4th house, this is a fine time to move if you have been planning it for a while. If you haven't been planning to move and you decide you want to move all of a sudden, that might bring some issues. So that's what I'm saying. Like, no rushing any major changes with your living situation. You want to consider it for a while. Also, don't get enveloped in any family conflicts. Like I mentioned earlier, with Mars in the 4th house, there could be some conflicts happening with family members or with your home life in some way. So be attentive to other people's feelings, to your own feelings. Tune into the subtleness of it all and make sure you stay out of drama. And don't neglect your need for personal space and your need for quiet. Make sure that you're carving out alone time with yourself amidst any of this family or home activities that are coming up. Give yourself breathing room for the busy house. And this brings us to the retrograde. Let's talk about Mercury stationing a retrograde in your 5th house. So it will station in your 5th house and it will retrograde back into your 4th house, and it will station direct exactly or very close to where the new moon is now. That's why this new moon is intertwined with this retrograde severely. And so Mercury retrograde in your 5th typically signals a time for recalibrating or revisiting some sort of creative project, some sort of romantic connection, some sort of recreational activity or hobby that you do, and possibly rethinking how you express joy and pleasure in your life. So you could find yourself dusting off old art, old writing, or other older creative projects. Your past creativity may be calling for a second round with this retrograde. So a revisiting of old creative projects is possible. Also, organizing some sort of outing or fun event might hit some sort of snag. Trying to plan a party, but the RSVPs are all over the place. That's the vibe with the retrograde. Maybe there are mix-ups or delays in planning fun activities. Also, you might find yourself during the retrograde thinking about old flames of the past dating life you had. Your love life may do a bit of a rewind, so don't be surprised if there's some nostalgia coming up. Also, what you usually find fun with this retrograde might need a bit of rethinking. Check if your favorite hobby is still fitting your current vibe and your current lifestyle. Things that you generally do for fun might not be as fun during the retrograde, and you may need to find new ways to have fun and new ways to relax. And if you have any kids or if you are working on any team projects, expect misunderstandings or needing to repeat instructions with this retrograde. This retrograde's like in the 5th house is like playing a game where the rules keep changing. So it's important to work through any communication hiccups with children or any creative collabs you're doing. And there is a shifting focus back to home and family matters, like I said, with Mercury retrograding back into your 4th house. So you can expect some crossover themes between your personal life and your home life coming up with this retrograde. Your home stage is getting some of the spotlight from your 5th house drama. So the do's and don'ts I have with this retrograde, I do recommend that you take time to reflect on your previous relationships or dates. Maybe journal about it. Journal some insights or lessons learned about past dating endeavors. It's like being a love archaeologist, exploring your heart's history and gathering some good information about it. This is a good couple weeks to challenge yourself to journal more, especially about 5th house topics. And I also recommend you reorganize your creative space. So whether it is some sort of art space you have or a corner of your room, rearrange or refresh an area where you get creative. And it will set the stage for future masterpieces. And I don't want to hear anything about you not being creative, because we are all creative. I used to call myself not creative also, but now I do this, and apparently this is considered creative, which I find wild, but we're creating something, right? So you are a creator, whether or not you think you're an artist. I also recommend you plan family activities, maybe indoor, at home family activities like board games, movie nights, or cooking together. It's a really good series of weeks for cozy bonding activities at home. The don'ts I have include not launching a brand new creative venture. Wait until after the retrograde to start any new artistic projects. Let your ideas marinate a bit longer for the best flavor before putting them out there. Otherwise, you'll be redoing and working a lot more than you need to. With that being said, if you already had a creative venture planned for the retrograde, this is a fine time to be working on a creative venture that you already had planned, okay? Also, do not ignore small maintenance tasks at home. Those little fix-it jobs that are just sitting there around the house, tackle them now rather than letting them pile up. This retrograde is the time to nip potential home headaches in the bud. And I also recommend, amidst family and house activities, don't forget to spend time alone, of course. Give yourself a mini vacation in your busy life, too. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for the, know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Libras. So the new moon is happening in your 3rd house, and this typically indicates a time for new beginnings or fresh perspectives or approaches with your communication, with your relationships with siblings or close acquaintances, with friends, with learning and education, and possibly shifts with your immediate environment and the way that you think about things in general. So some specific things you can expect from this new moon: new conversations or new connections with neighbors or siblings or extended family. You could find yourself chatting more in general with the people around you. Your social circle in your immediate environment will get a bit livelier with this new moon. Also, you might notice, you might feel drawn to picking up a new skill or a new subject. Your brain might be itching for some fresh knowledge with this new moon, the start of a new learning endeavor or a new learning interest. Also, with Neptune's influence, be ready for some crossed wires. We also have Mercury stationing, so this is a time where misunderstandings are possible. It's like playing a game of telephone where all the messages are getting a bit jumbled, so keep an eye out for that. And with this new moon, you could find yourself hopping around town a bit more than usual. Your daily travels are getting busier. Maybe you have to run more errands than usual with this new moon. There's an increase in short trips with this new moon. And thanks to Mars, your interactions might have a little bit more oomph with all these people. Your conversational energy gets dialed up. You might notice people are in more debates, heated debates than usual. Also, with Jupiter and Venus involved with this new moon being the ruler and whatnot, you may be rethinking your usual routes and routines. Maybe there's a pull to change up your usual path and your usual routine, like trying a new coffee shop on your way to work, for example. So overall, this is a new moon that brings focus to your brain, your communication, the way you think about things, your immediate surroundings, your learnings, and it's spiced up with a bit of Mars, a dash of Neptune, and maybe a new perspective you'll be getting here. It's like your regular daily script gets some sort of interesting new lines to say. So the do's and don'ts for the new moon for y'all, I recommend you do start journaling, or you continue journaling, or start a blog. Make a post on social media. This is a good time to express yourself through writing, whether it is a personal journal or sharing your thoughts online. This new moon is giving your ideas a very cozy home. And I do recommend you do some sort of maintenance on your transportation. Get a new car, maintain or improve your transportation in some way. I recommend you do reach out to siblings, close neighbors, cousins, aunts, uncles. Make an effort to connect or reconnect with people in your immediate physical circle. This is a good time to build a friendly bridge in your own backyard, pretty much. And I do recommend you do some sort of new moon manifestation ritual. I highly recommend lighting a candle with the intention to manifest something related to third house topics, and focusing your intentions maybe on communication, learning, and your immediate environment in general. I recommend you do not overcommit in social situations. While it is a good time to connect with people, don't stretch yourself too thin. Make sure your social battery isn't going to run out when you do a thing. Don't ignore miscommunications, obviously. It's easy to ignore miscommunications because our brain tends to disregard things that we don't get right away, unless it's like some crazy mystery. But, if there's a misunderstanding, clear it up sooner rather than later. And don't neglect your usual commuting safety. If you're trying new routes, new modes of transportation, put on your seatbelt, stay mindful of safety. People on the road will be driving like idiots, so check before you cross the street. And this moves us into Mercury's retrograde. Mercury is stationing in your 4th house, and it will retrograde back into your 3rd house. So you can see how the new moon is intertwined here. And a retrograde here typically indicates a period of recalibration and reorganizing or revisiting aspects of your private life, which includes your home environment, your family relationships, your parents, and your personal foundation in general. And this often leads to rethinking and revising your approach to these topics. So you might find yourself thinking about or refreshing old family discussions or old family issues. Your family's greatest hits album is suddenly starting to play again. So revisiting past family conversations, old problems. Also, maybe it is time to rearrange your furniture or reconsider how you use your home space. It's like your living environment is asking for a little bit of remix with this retrograde. So rethinking your living space is possible here. If you have a home improvement project going, brace for some delays though. Your DIY plans may take a lazy Sunday. So delays with repairs or renovations is possible. You could expect some sort of reconnection with relatives or childhood contacts, like an unexpected call from a cousin or a message from a childhood friend is possible. Your past might be sending a remember me type text. And you can expect tech glitches, especially here and at home. With Mercury doing all this, your home gadgets might be acting up, your Wi-Fi router, your toaster, etc. Weird glitchies. And you might be diving deeper into understanding your heritage. Maybe you're reflecting on your roots more with this retrograde, taking a personal history tour maybe. If you have a relationship with your parents' life, or maybe your parents' life could have something going on in it. Maybe they're extra busy, or your parents could be visiting if they haven't visited in a while, or maybe you're visiting them. So Mercury will, like I said, Mercury will be retrograding into your 3rd house too. So you can expect some retrograde themes to cross over into your immediate environment. It's like the stories of your home life are spilling out into your daily conversations and encounters in your neighborhood. And I'll talk more about when Mercury dips back into your 3rd house and stations direct in, I guess it happens January 1st. So at the end of December, we will revisit what to expect more specifically there. But the do's and don'ts we have for the first half of the Mercury retrograde are, let's see, if you are starting renovations, plan for delays with the retrograde. Pack an umbrella just in case the weather changes. Don't forget the umbrella. plan for contingencies with home projects during this retrograde. It's okay to start renovations. Just know it will be the process of the retrograde, which is a few weeks. So I do recommend you reach out to neighbors or local friends. It's a really good time to strengthen any community ties, catch up with nearby friends, watering plants in your social garden. I do recommend you organize family photos or some sort of memorabilia project. It's a good thing to do for this retrograde. Sort through old photos, old letters, old family keepsakes. Take a nostalgic trip down memory lane for this retrograde. I don't recommend you expect any home projects to go as planned. Like I said, if you're undertaking any renovations, be prepared for unexpected twists, plot twists. There are some detours that are possible with a retrograde. I also recommend you do not rush any important conversations that you need to have with family. Take your time to communicate with them, especially with important matters. Don't ignore any family conflicts that you need to work through, and just take a deep breath before diving in. And I recommend you do not get any new technology if possible. This is not the time to get a new laptop or a new phone, because you will most likely have some issues with it and have to work through that thanks to the retrograde. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time, maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Scorpio besties. So this new moon is happening in your 2nd house, and this typically signifies a time for new beginnings and opportunities related to your finances, material resources, and personal values, and prompts a reevaluation or fresh approach to how you manage and how you view these aspects of your life. So some specific things you can expect for this new moon include you might feel a strong need to look over your finances, maybe checking your bank account, planning your budget more carefully. There could be temptations to make spontaneous purchases thanks to Mars's impulsive energy with the new moon. Financial decisions might be clouded with uncertainty, influenced by Neptune square, which can lead to some confusion, of course, about where or how to spend or make your money. You might find yourself thinking more about what truly matters to you beyond material possessions, thanks to Jupiter and Venus opposition, and they are encouraging a deeper reflection and consideration of your what you value in life. New opportunities for income or new opportunities to manage resources could emerge and present fresh ways to enhance your financial situation. And your feelings tied to self-worth and material belongings might be a little bit more pronounced. So maybe this brings a heightened emotional aspect to how you view your finances and possessions for this new moon. So do's and don'ts I recommend you do dive into learning more about managing your finances more effectively. Maybe start a financial planning course or read a finance book, hire a financial advisor. I recommend you organize your physical space, tidy up areas where you keep important items like bills, receipts, financial documents. I recommend you go through your bank account and make sure, identify the subscriptions that you aren't wanting to do anymore, and streaming services or magazines. We're all canceling Netflix, right? Magazines too, those are sneaky. Cancel unused subscriptions. I also recommend you do some sort of new moon manifestation ritual. Focus Maybe, as you know, I love to light a candle for new moons with the intention of manifesting something related to the second house topics in your chart. Focus on setting intentions for achieving financial security and managing your resources wisely. I recommend you, and as for the don'ts, I just recommend you don't impulse buy any expensive items. If you see some sort of expensive, high-priced item that you want, like electronics or luxury goods, maybe wait a little bit to decide if it's really necessary. We want to really consider things due to the square to Neptune and due to Mercury's retrograde. And that brings us to Mercury's retrograde. And Mercury stations retrograde in your third house. It retrogrades back into your second house for the second half of the retrograde. But we're going to talk about the first half of the retrograde right now when it stations. And when Mercury stations retrograde in your third house, it typically means you might encounter mix-ups or revisits in some sort of communications that you've gone through, maybe some misunderstandings with people that are close to you, and glitches and rethinking in areas related to transportation, technology, and education. I know, the third house is a wild one, and so it feels like it's all over the place, but I'll talk about specifics here. So retrogrades are around 3.5 weeks, so they are a process, right? So what are some things you can expect with this process? Missed and delayed messages, of course. You might experience delays in getting responses, or maybe you're missing important emails or important texts, inconvenient things that might freak you out but aren't that scary or hard, really. So missed, delayed messages, and of course misunderstandings. Conversations with friends and siblings especially could lead to misunderstandings and might require clarification. Tech glitches are big with the third house. Your gadgets, your phones, your laptops might have more technical issues than normal, so harness patience for that. Also, you could find yourself thinking back to old projects, old plans, revisiting old ideas is a possibility. And transportation hiccups are possible too. Issues like car troubles or public transportation delays might crop up more often, or maybe you have car maintenance scheduled for the retrograde. Not necessarily car troubles, but some sort of recalibration with transportation is possible. And reconnecting with friends, especially from your past, old friends, old acquaintances might come into contact with you again. Get back in touch. So the do's and don'ts I have for the first half of the retrograde, I recommend you do back up your digital data, of course. Make sure you're backing up all of your important files and you have a backup plan in general. I recommend you reconnect with old friends, old neighbors. This is a good time to catch up with people that you haven't seen in a while, whether it's a quick text or a coffee chat. And I recommend you review and reflect on your budget for the second half of the retrograde when Mercury moves back into Sag. This is a good time to take a closer look at your finances, especially reviewing recent transactions for accuracy. You want to, that new beginning you began with the second house topics, Mercury comes through and make sure that all of the kinks are worked out and we're getting through everything properly. The don'ts for the retrograde. I recommend you don't ignore vehicle maintenance, of course. If you've been putting off car repairs or a car wash or a checkup or oil change, now or the retrograde is a good time to address that and avoid any issues. I recommend you do not make any hasty decisions about large purchases. Again, hold off on any big financial commitments or purchases until after the retrograde to avoid any lengthening of whatever the situation is. We don't need it to go longer than it needs to go. And do not neglect any need for clarity. Obviously, it's funny because our brains are good at ignoring things that we don't get right away. So if there is confusion in some sort of conversation, especially regarding finances, make sure that you clear them up pretty quick. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time, maybe do laundry or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare, and maybe write in your calendar for the, know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Sagittarius. So the new moon is happening in your first house. It's all about you. And this is a new moon that signifies a period of a personal rebirth and new beginnings. And it offers opportunities for reshaping your identity on some level, maybe changing your appearance, or starting fresh in how you present yourself to the world in general, or your approach to your health also. So what are some specific things you can expect for the new moon? Feeling some sort of urge to update your look is possible. Maybe you want to change your style, change your appearance. Your wardrobe or hairstyle is itching for a refresh on some level. This new moon could also give you a boost in confidence and in energy, especially with Mars around. You could feel a lot more energetic, a lot more confident, also a little more inflamed, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Conflict, the opposite of conflict averse. You are down for conflict. You may be stepping into a new pair of power shoes with this new moon. Also, you may notice moments of self-doubt amidst all of that, thanks to Neptune's square. There's like a swing back and forth between confidence and uncertainty about your path and how you're presenting yourself. So, also, you might notice some sort of initiative to kickstart a goal. You might be very motivated to start some sort of new routine or new regimen or new plan. Your body is asking for it. Also, you could notice with the Venus, with Jupiter being the ruler and opposing Venus, you may be pondering over your relationships and how you are engaging with people in general, checking the settings on your social interaction app, pretty much. So reevaluating how you connect with others is possible with this new moon too. And that's kind of a Mercury retrograde thing too, but we're not going to talk about that yet. We're doing the new moon first. You might notice impulse to act more bold or make big decisions. The new moon and the Mars combo could tempt you to make impulsive decisions or big moves. So your inner risk taker is turning up the volume. So overall, this new moon is all about personal reinvention and stepping into a new version of yourself, but with a mix of boldness, a touch of uncertainty, and a bit of rethinking how you relate to others. It's like you're the main character of your story, of course, and you've just turned a page to a brand new chapter with this new moon. And some do's and don'ts I have for the new moon. Do try out a new hobby or a new interest. Engage in something that you've always been curious about, like painting classes, cooking workshop, learning a musical instrument, something like that. I recommend you do a photo shoot, take some selfies, post pictures of yourself on social media, capture your current self in a new light. Celebrate who you are in this moment. This is a new moon all about you. And it's not an eclipse, so we get to really enjoy it. And we get to use it for some magic. So this is a really good new moon to do a manifestation ritual of some kind. My favorite is to light a candle with the intention to manifest something. For you, I recommend manifesting anything you want with this first house new moon. The magic is in your hands, but you can specifically focus on what personal attributes or changes you want to embrace for this new cycle. I recommend you, let's talk about the don'ts. Don't radically alter your appearance or especially on a whim, I should say. It's not about radically altering your appearance. It's about doing it on a whim without thinking about it. So avoid any impulsive makeovers or drastic style changes without some thought. Consider starting with small adjustments because we have this Mercury retrograde coming up. So it's not going to be a one and done process, whatever it is you work towards. And do not dismiss your feelings of confusion if they're coming up. If you're feeling unsure about something, don't ignore them. Maybe journal through that or talk them out with someone else. It helps a lot to get someone else's perspective. Do not overcommit to any new projects or any new relationships. Be cautious about diving headfirst into too many commitments or too many relationship situations. Pace yourself to avoid being overwhelmed, because we do have Mercury stationing retrograde in your second house at the same time. And this typically signifies a period for revising, recalibrating, reassessing your financial situation, and rethinking how you manage your resources, how you manage possessions, and possibly reflecting on your sense of self-worth and self-esteem and your material values and how they're all intertwined. How fun. So what can you expect? You might find yourself dealing with a surprise bill or two. Your wallet might play a game of hide and seek. Don't lose your purse. Don't lose your wallet. Don't lose your keys. This is a time where you might be more prone to losing things. You might also be looking over your budget or your spending habits and making adjustments there. Your financial health check is what's going on for the first half of this retrograde. If you've been eyeing something expensive, you might start second guessing whether it's the right time to buy it with this retrograde. It's like hesitating at the checkout line kind of vibe. And that's okay. That's okay. There's no necessary rush here. And at the same time, you could be pondering what truly matters to you right now beyond material possessions. It's like taking stock of your inner assets, revisiting your personal values, your self-worth, and pondering what truly matters to you over this retrograde. This retrograde also might have you reflecting on your income sources. There might be thoughts about diversifying your income or changing how you earn money. Like, imagine looking at your income streams and wondering if there's another way to fish. Also, with that being said, be prepared for some holdups in payments or with finances in general. Your money might be taking the scenic route to its destination. That doesn't mean it's not going to get there. It just means there might be some delays. Also, maybe ways that you used to make money are becoming more relevant somehow in your life. So, some do's and don'ts for the Mercury retrograde process. I do recommend you take a closer look at your expenses and see where you can make some smart adjustments. Mercury retrograde is helping you fine-tune your financial engine. And I recommend you revisit and update your goals financially. So not only your spending plan, but reflect on your long-term financial plan and see if it is aligning with your current aspirations. Update yourself there. Make sure you are benchmarking where you want to be and where you want to go. I recommend you organize financial documents for this retrograde. Sort out bills, receipts, bank statements. Give your financial files maybe a neat makeover. Maybe file some things if you haven't done any filing in a while. And I recommend you, I challenge you to track your daily expenses for a week during the retrograde. Keep a close eye on what you're spending each day and play detective with your own spending habits. You might notice something interesting there. And then Mercury will retrograde back into Sagittarius, into your first house for the second half of the retrograde. So this will be a good time for you to think about how you're presenting yourself and whether it's aligning with who you really are. And it will be a good time to change up how you're acting, how you're looking, what your general goals and ambitions are. It's a good time for self-reflection in the mirror of your soul, the retrograde, the second half. So the don'ts I have for the retrograde, don't sign any new financial agreements without reviewing. So be cautious with any new contracts or new agreements. Read the fine print twice, maybe even 3 times. I recommend you don't ignore any unusual bank activity. I don't know if any of us are that rich, but keep an eye on your bank statements. If something is looking off, address that. Be the guardian of your own treasure chest. Be the dragon in your cave of goodies. Also, do not let your financial stress impact your self-perception. Remember that your value is not tied to your bank balance, okay? Keep a healthy perspective about your self-worth. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for the, know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Capricorns. So the new moon is in your 12th house, and this indicates a time for introspection and dealing with hidden aspects of your life. It encourages reflection, it encourages healing, and it helps you address subconscious matters and things that are generally behind the scenes. So what are some things you can expect with this new moon? Maybe a surfacing of subconscious thoughts or subconscious feelings. So you might find that feelings or thoughts that you weren't fully aware of are coming to the forefront with this new moon, like discovering hidden layers within yourself. And you may notice a deeper need for alone time with this new moon. You might feel the need to just be in your own space. And with Neptune's influence, there might be times of uncertainty or feeling a little bit lost and like you're navigating through a fog. So don't be surprised if there are moments of confusion or uncertainty. And you might experience more vivid dreams for this new moon, or more vivid intuitive insights. And so increased dream activity, and your subconscious mind is just a bit louder for this new moon. You could find yourself more affected by your environment with this new moon and the emotions of others, as if your personal boundaries are more porous than usual. There's a heightened sensitivity with your surroundings. And this new moon might have you interested in more spiritual or therapeutic activities like meditation or yoga or therapy as a way to connect with your inner self. This new moon in the 12th house opens the door to the more hidden, more spiritual, more emotional parts of your life, and it encourages introspection and inner understanding, but with a blend of energy like from Mars and a blend of sensitivity from Neptune and a touch of mystery as well. Some do's and don'ts. I do recommend tuba gets on the table and gets in the way. So, some do's and don'ts for the new moon. I recommend you do dedicate time to be quiet. I do recommend you dedicate some quiet time to meditate or introspect or journal, connect with your inner thoughts, your inner feelings. Yeah, I recommend you journal. Also, journal your dreams, journal your intuitions. A dream diary is really smart. Jot down intuitive insights that you have in your notes, maybe. They might hold really valuable messages this time. They do all the time, but they'll be even louder this time. I do recommend you do some sort of new moon manifestation ritual, like focus on releasing past burdens. This is a good time to light a candle with the intention to manifest something related to the 12th house. Set intentions for spiritual growth or inner peace or something like that. The don'ts I have include, do not ignore your emotions, of course. Don't brush aside any of the surfacing emotions or thoughts that are needing attention. It's important to acknowledge it. It's happening on purpose. It's all, astrologer good. Do not overwhelm yourself with social obligations during this new moon. You're not going to want to be too social, so don't overcommit socially. And do not neglect any signs from your subconscious. Again, if dreams or intuitions are signaling something, don't dismiss them. Maybe sink into them a little bit more. So let's move on to the Mercury Retrograde, which is stationing in your first house, which typically indicates a time of self-reflection and recalibration with your own personal goals, with maybe your communication style and your self-presentation in general. And it can lead to internal shifts in how you perceive yourself and how you interact with the world, as well as external shifts in how you look and present to the world. So let's talk about specifics. You might find yourself questioning how you present yourself to others and maybe consider a change in your style or how you express yourself. You could notice maybe this period brings past choices to your mind, prompting you to think about how they have shaped your current self. Like you're going to be much more reflective on your past actions and decisions. There is a chance for some miscommunications, of course, where, what you say might be taken differently than what you intended. So misunderstandings are possible, and you might find yourself pondering deeper life questions at this point, maybe your overall direction and what truly matters to you, and just introspection on your life path. And maybe there is a resurfacing of old inner conflicts, old doubts might reemerge, and asking for another benchmark moment in its resolution. Plans that you set in motion around this time could experience setbacks also and require some recalibration thanks to the retrograde experience. It might make you pause and rethink next steps. So overall, during this retrograde, you can expect a time of inward focus, and you might be reassessing different parts of your identity and how you engage with the world. And this is coupled with a dive into deeper, more introspective territory also. So the do's and don'ts I have for this retrograde: do organize a personal space for yourself. Create or reorganize, recalibrate some sort of space in your home that is dedicated to relaxation and self-reflection, like a cozy reading nook or a meditation corner or something like that. I recommend you journal. Begin a daily journaling practice. Focus on your thoughts, your feelings, experiences. This will help you gain insight on what the planets are telling you. I also recommend you revisit some sort of past hobby for relaxation purposes. Pick up a hobby that you used to enjoy but that you haven't done in a while, like sketching or playing a musical instrument or knitting or whatever you do for fun, for stress relief, and for personal enjoyment. I guess that's fun. For stress relief. I recommend you do not impulsively change how you look. Hold off on any major alterations to your appearance, like a drastic new haircut or a significant wardrobe overhaul, until after the retrograde. And I recommend you don't dismiss any recurring dreams that are coming up, or any daydreams even. If certain images or ideas keep coming to you in dreams or daydreams, you should take some time to explore what they mean. Don't ignore them. And do not isolate yourself completely, especially from loved ones. It is important to have alone time, but you cannot do it all alone all the time. So make sure you're not cutting off complete communication from friends and family. Balance your solitude with maintaining your supportive connections. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Aquarius. So there's a new moon in your 11th house, and this is basically like getting an invitation to start fresh or energize your connections with allies, communities, networks, and it opens doors to new social opportunities and collaborators. So some specific things you can expect with this new moon include new faces in your social circle. You could see new people entering your group of friends or your community or groups you're in, adding fresh energy, fresh perspectives. You could notice an initiation of group projects. There could be the start of a new collab or project within networks, like a community event or a group initiative of some kind. And with Neptune square, you got to be prepared for potential miscommunications or unclear intentions in group settings. And of course, we have Mercury stationing too, so we have a double whammy there of miscommunications. Be patient. Don't take anything too personally. And Mars is going to be stirring up some feelings or drives towards social activism or working towards a cause that you're really passionate about. So heightened passions with social causes is possible. You could find yourself questioning your place or your contribution within various social circles that you're involved in or organizations. So rethinking your role in social groups is possible. And despite some of the potential confusion from the Neptune square and retrograde, there is a chance for beneficial networking opportunities that could really blossom because we have that opposition between Venus and Jupiter. So this expands your professional and personal connections on some level. And this new moon is basically a catalyst in your social world that sparks new connections and new activities with new people. But it does come with the side of needing to navigate some potential misunderstandings and reevaluations and how you fit into these groups. And we will talk more about that with the retrograde. So let me tell you the do's and don'ts for the new moon. I do recommend you organize a casual meetup with online friends. If you have some friends or acquaintances that you've met online, you can consider casual coffee or a group video call of some kind. I do recommend you volunteer for a local cause that you care about, like sign up for a specific event or a project or local charity or community group that aligns with your interests. And I do recommend you do some sort of new moon manifestation ritual, like focus on setting specific goals for social engagement or community involvement, like joining a new club or starting a new group around a hobby. I recommend lighting a candle with the intention to manifest that. The don'ts. I recommend you don't jump into any new social group without researching first. So like before committing to any new group, take the time to understand its dynamics and whether it aligns with your values, because we have that retrograde coming up. So don't overload your schedule with social commitments either. Be mindful of your time and energy. Don't book every evening with social events or group activities. And do not ignore any misunderstandings in group chats or in emails, because there may be confusion in the digital communications in your social circles. So address misunderstandings immediately. And this brings us to retrograde Mercury. So Mercury is stationing in your 12th house, and this typically signals a time for deep introspection, revisiting of past issues, and uncovering hidden aspects of your subconscious, and often brings to light overlooked details or secrets of some kind. So let's talk about some specifics, though. The 12th house isn't the funnest house to have things in because you can't see what's going on in the 12th house, but it's not all bad, especially a retrograde, because this is a very internal, inward-focused type of vibe. So you might notice memories that you haven't thought about in a long time popping up. Your mind is digging through an old photo album during this retrograde. So the resurfacing of old, forgotten memories is possible. And you could feel a stronger pull towards spending time alone over the retrograde, maybe thinking more about personal matters or just enjoying your own company. And this will only be for the first half of the retrograde. The second half will be when Mercury re-enters Sagittarius, which is back into that group dynamic I was mentioning before. So it'll be more social in the second half, but the first half is alone time. And again, with Mercury heading back into your 11th house, you might need to rethink your place in certain groups or how you interact with your wider social network, or maybe you're revisiting old friends, old allies that you used to spend more time with. And you might notice those quiet, reflective times that you're having during the retrograde could bring up some really surprising, maybe not surprising, but like aha moments, realizations, ideas, insights. Like while you're going for your solo walk or while you're just sitting quietly. There's a lot more unexpected insights during quiet moments for this retrograde. You might notice just the revisiting of past issues in therapy is possible, or just during your own personal analysis is possible. Maybe noticing as Mercury retrogrades back into your 11th house, maybe there is a disconnect between your personal aspirations and your social engagements. Like maybe you have to rethink if your group activities are truly aligning with your goals moving forward. And you may notice there's some sort of delay in realizing social projects or plans too. So any group initiatives or community projects or things like that might experience slowdowns, plot twists, reversals of fate. Maybe they need rethinking, similar to hitting the pause button to reassess the direction. So the do's and don'ts for Mercury retrograde include, I recommend creating a small personal retreat space for yourself, like a small area in your home that can just be your little 12th house nook where you can go to do your 12th house activities during 12th house transits. A cozy corner with comfy pillows and calming ambiance. I recommend you do participate in online forums, discords, groups, online things. With your interests specifically. Engage with communities online that share your hobbies and your passions and that might offer new ways to connect while also respecting your need for personal space. That's why we like online. Also, I recommend you do reconnect with an old friend or, reconnect with an old friend in a low-key setting. Reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a while and maybe suggest a relaxed catch-up of some kind, like a walk in the park or a coffee chat or just a nice video call. And the don'ts. I recommend you don't overshare personal matters in large social settings. This is an oversharing retrograde vibe. That's why I'm saying connecting to someone in therapy will be very helpful. Oversharing in therapy will be beneficial, but be mindful of how much personal information you share in group environments and on social media during this retrograde. Do not ignore reflections that are surfacing. So pay attention to any insights or thoughts that are coming through these quiet moments. Do not push them aside. They are coming up on purpose. And if you are feeling the need for solitude, do not force yourself back into a hectic social schedule. Give yourself time to transition however you need to transition. You don't need to rush back into a busy social life by any means. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time, maybe do laundry or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time. Hello, Pisces. So the new moon is in your 10th house, and this is exciting. It typically marks a time for new beginnings or important shifts related to your career, your public image, your life goals. And it offers opportunities to redefine your professional path and how you want to be perceived in your field in general. So some specifics. You might find yourself in the spotlight more than usual during this new moon. Maybe there's more opportunities for recognition or exposure in your professional world. Increased visibility with this new moon. Increased recognition of your work. And expect to see new tasks or new projects coming your way. Potentially offering a chance to showcase your skills and step up your career game on some level. New responsibilities, new projects. Confusion or uncertainty with your career is possible, though, at the same time, because Neptune's square to the new moon. It might bring just some moments of doubt or confusion with your career path and the steps you're taking. And if you feel that, just know that it's normal. That's why I'm bringing it up. And there could be, since Mars is here, Mars could amplify your drive for success at work, but it could also bring some stress or competitiveness or conflict at work or with authority figures. So don't speed, don't get pulled over by any cops for the new moon. And with Jupiter opposing Venus and being the ruler, you could be weighing your career ambitions against your personal life or your relationships and trying to seek a better balance. And you could notice that despite any of these challenges, there is a potential for forming very valuable new connections within your professional circle that could benefit your career. Like, there are opportunities for new connections in your career network. So overall, this new moon is setting the stage for developments in your career and in your public life. And if you don't have a career, it's with the roles you are known for taking on in life. Like, if you're a stay-at-home mom, that might not be a career, but it is the role you take on in life, and that's your 10th house. So there are new developments on the way here, bringing a mix of opportunities, a re-examination of your goals, and navigating some challenges, but nothing that you can't handle. So the new moon do's and don'ts. I do recommend for this new moon that you revamp your social media profiles, whether that is revamping your LinkedIn or your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, whatever profile you want to revamp to reflect more of who you truly are, or update your resume. Update it to reflect your current career goals and your current accomplishments. I do recommend you reach out to your mentor. Contact somebody who you admire in your field for advice and for insight. And I do recommend you do some sort of new moon manifestation ritual. This is a very powerful new moon to manifest things, so especially related to your 10th house. So I recommend lighting a candle with the intention to focus specifically on career aspirations, like landing a new role or enhancing some sort of skill or just achieving a work-related milestone. I don't recommend you overcommit to new projects with this new moon without planning. Like, avoid saying yes to everything, to every new opportunity that comes your way without considering your current workload and capacity. If you can handle all of it, say yes to all of it, but be sure that you are balancing it properly. And do not neglect networking opportunities with this new moon. Don't miss out on any chances to connect with colleagues or professionals in your industry. These relationships can be very valuable at this point. And do not ignore your work-life balance. No becoming a workaholic, none of that. Do not let it overshadow your personal life and your self-care needs specifically. And this brings us to Mercury's retrograde. Mercury stations in your 11th house, and it will station retrograde all the way back into your 10th house, which is why we have this connection here to the new moon. So the retrograde process in your 11th house can indicate a time for recalibrating connections with your allies, your colleagues, your networks, and groups that you're involved in, potentially leading to maybe misunderstandings or reassessments with these people and in social and community relationships. So what can you expect with this retrograde process? Reconnections with old allies or old colleagues is totally possible. Maybe unexpectedly crossing paths with people from your past, old classmates, former coworkers popping up in your life. Be ready for some mix-ups or confusions in any communications, in any messages, especially within social networks or work teams or group dynamics. Misunderstandings in group communications. Also, you could find yourself pondering your place or contribution in your various groups and communities that you are a part of. Maybe you're reflecting on your roles in certain social settings. This retrograde could also since it is retrograding back into your 10th house, you could be revisiting past professional connections, maybe a resurgence of professional contacts or old work opportunities that you thought were in the rearview mirror of some sort. So your aspirations related to your social involvement and your community projects might just go through some recalibrations here, shifts with community goals. And you may notice a need to rethink your approach to networking, like reassessing how you network, how you connect with others professionally or unprofessionally, and considering different strategies to connect with people. So overall, this Mercury retrograde period is like your social and professional networks deciding to shuffle the deck a bit, and it brings some surprises and prompts you to rethink how you connect and communicate with those around you. So the do's and don'ts I have for this retrograde for y'all, I do recommend you audit your social media profiles. I did mention this briefly, but review and update your online presence somewhere, especially your professional networks like LinkedIn. Ensure that it's all reflecting your current career goals. This is a very astrologer good thing to do during the retrograde. Also, I recommend you reach out to someone that has guided you in the past. Like I said, reach out to a mentor, reconnect to somebody who knows more than you, and get some advice. I recommend also that you organize your digital contacts. This is a really good time to sort through your email contacts, your social media friends list, organize them, unfollow people, organize them in a way that makes sense to your current professional and social needs. The don'ts for the retrograde: avoid starting any new complex projects with your social or professional groups during this retrograde. Don't initiate any complex group projects on a whim, at least. Details are going to be easily muddled with this. On the other hand, if you have been planning a group project and this is when it is getting initiated and you don't have the option, or this is just how long it's been planned for and this is the time, it's okay. It's okay to do group projects during retrograde. Just know that it will take the entire retrograde at least to get settled. So it'll take at least 3 or 4 weeks to fully finish whatever project this is. I also recommend you do not send any important emails without reviewing them. You want to double check that for clarity, because we have typos and tone problems possibly coming through with this retrograde. We want to make sure, especially in a professional context, that we want to make sure we're not sending anything ambiguous. So I also recommend you don't plan any large social events without backup plans. That's the asterisk. So if you're organizing any social event or gathering for this retrograde, have backup plans in place for things, because there could be lots of last minute changes or miscommunications. So that's what we have today, y'all. How do you feel about the upcoming new moon and upcoming retrograde? Is there anything you're side-eyeing? What are you expecting? I love reading your comments. Please comment below. It helps build the community. It helps make me continue to do this. And don't forget to check out my 2024 horoscope playlist to get an idea of what to expect for the coming year for your sign. They're very detailed, so make sure you have time. Maybe do laundry, or maybe while you're driving. It's one of those kind of videos. And it's for those of y'all who like to prepare and maybe write in your calendar for know what vibes are coming up. If you enjoyed this video and you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, don't forget Pix's Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either readings or mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro and tarot and mystical conversation flowing if you want to make some friends. I love everyone in that Discord. Y'all are my favorite. So yeah, that's it. Thanks so much, friends. Good luck. I'll catch you next time.